All right. What up, everybody? Welcome to the show. Uh, I know it's been a big day for all the Mets fans out there. I know it's all the talk is all about Kyle Tucker. And we're here and I'm here to discuss it. I want to know what you guys think. Um, and I'm going to give you my thoughts. Obviously, we'll play some videos and whatnot, but this thing has legs. This thing 100% has legs, and I think it's going to get done very, very soon. Now, could it happen overnight? It could. But again, you're down to three teams. You got the Dodgers, you got the Blue Jays, and you got the Mets. And as of right now, right this second, the Mets are favored as per producer. Can you pull up the graphs for me there? It's a website I went on, and it has the Kyle Tucker, it has the watch and it has the exact odds. And again, remember, this is people betting. So, take it with a grain of salt. Don't go too crazy with it. But here it is. If we could zoom in on it a little bit. Zoom in. Yeah. So right now, the New York Mets have a 42% chance. And again, this was a few hours ago, so this could have changed. But I believe this was as of 5 o'clock. The New York Mets have a 42% chance of signing Kyle Tucker. So, to me, I think we're in a really good spot. This changed. It could be even higher at this point. Now, I don't know. Again, this is Vegas, and this is, they're always, I take all the Vegas odds with a grain of salt, right? And this, I think, is a betting site. So again, not going to go too crazy with it, but it does say that he is, favored to sign here. And as of a few hours ago, he was, I believe it was up to 55%. So this could be something. I don't know. But again, if you look at it, right, Mets and Blue Jays, there's no mention of the Dodgers here, which I find strange. But maybe that's the two last teams left. Because if I was to guess, I think the Jays will give out a long deal, but the Mets won't. And all the reports are, and we're going to get to those in a second. We'll get to all the, SNY and all that stuff. But everything suggests that the Blue Jays are going to offer a long-term deal and we're going to offer a short-term deal. Now, I don't know which way this is going to go. I don't know how much we're going to offer, but I would think if I was a betting man, I would say it's somewhere along the lines of 4 to 5 years, probably around $50 million a year. I could be wrong, but if you want to get Kyle Tucker here and you want him on the Mets and David Stern wants him on the Mets, and it looks like they do, I think it's going to take 5 years, and I'm going to say it's going to take $50 million. So that would be 5,250. That's a lot of fucking money. Maybe 4,200. Because as of right now, they said that the Mets offered a 3-year, like 150, something like that, or maybe it was 140. I don't know. But if he's going to take this deal and he's going to come here, to me, it's probably a 5-year deal, and it's probably somewhere along the lines from 45 to 50 million. Again, Kyle Tucker projects somewhere in between Juan Soto, who is, I'm not going to count Shohei Ohtani as the highest paid player, but he is. I'm going to count Juan Soto because he's in position. So it's between, Kyle Tucker fits somewhere between Juan Soto and Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge is at $40 million annually, and Juan Soto is about, I think, what is he at, $51 million or something like that? Whatever he's at, he's around there. So again, we will see. And my guy DJ in the chat, he said the odds right now are up to 59%. So that's a big jump. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if a deal gets done tonight or tomorrow night. I think it's coming. I think Kyle Tucker's going to set the market, and then you're going to see everybody else landing. You're going to see Bo Bichette sign after him. You're going to see Cody Bellinger sign after him. It's coming. It's coming. So I'm here for it, and I'm here to discuss it with you guys. Again, if it was me, and again, it's not my money, so I don't care. But if it was me, I'd offer him 5 years and at $45 million a year. Now you may say, Eddie, you're crazy, you're out of your fucking mind. But again, we're competing against the Blue Jays. If you're a player, where would you rather go? To Toronto or the Mets? I'd rather go to Toronto just because the pressure's not on me. There's no pressure whatsoever. Toronto's already built. They're good to go. The Mets, different story. It's a totally different story with the Mets. But again, it's all coming. It's all coming to a head. So what would you guys offer? What would be your offer? Do you want to go longer on the years? Do you guys think he's going to get 5, 6, 7 years? He could. If anybody deserves it, he does. He's fucking incredible. Now, is he a Juan Soto level superstar? No, he's not. I'm being honest. He's a really good player. He's got a high on base percentage, low whiff rate. You know, he's got all the good numbers. He's got all the advanced numbers going for him. And I think that's what's going to help make his market. And I think that's why he's the guy that's going to set the market. And that's why I think he's going to sign first. Because that's the guy you want. And he's honestly the best player left. I mean, Cody Bellinger's good, but Cody Bellinger's 2 years older than him. So you have a guy in Tucker, and what is he, 29? I believe he's going to be 29 to start the season. So that's a really good deal. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but I do know that, again, if I am the Mets, you go short term, and fuck it, offer him 45 for, if you did 45 over 5, what would that be? 90, 180, 225. So 4 for 225. Now, am I crazy? Or no? And my guy, DJ, again, I can't see this. Oh, there he goes. He says if the Blue Jays or Dodgers sign Tucker, they would lose their top 4 draft picks based upon who they sign this offseason. No team has ever lost that many picks from what I researched. I saw that. Shout out to Tony Metro. He made a post on that. That's a big deal. I mean, that means both teams would lose, what is that, their top 4 draft picks? That's pretty crazy. Now, I don't think the Dodgers give a shit. I don't think the Blue Jays give a shit, to be honest. I think both teams win a World Series. So, again, we'll see who it's going to come down to. But right now, it looks like the Mets are in prime position. Now, again, I don't think $40 million is enough. I think it's going to take $45 million to get this guy here, at least. And he's going to have opt-outs too, let's be real. You guys all know he's going to have opt-outs in this deal. Tons. Because, again, if you're him, and crypto says 5,250. Is that too much? Again, we're talking about Kyle Tucker here. We're not talking about Juan Soto. We're not talking about, Aaron Judge. I mean, Kyle Tucker's really good, but is he fucking $50 million good? I don't know, but I don't care. Like, if the Mets gave him that, I would do it. And this came out earlier in the day, and it's said that the Mets are in the range of 120 to 140 over 3 years. This is bullshit. This is horseshit. Because he's worth much more than that. And he's not going to take a 3-year deal for $30 million. Or what was it? If it's 3 for 120, that's $40 million. And if it's 3 for 140, that's 40 what? So it would be 20. It's like it would be 45 million or close to it. It would have to be 145 for that. I mean, he, again, great player. Does what we need to do. Won a Gold Glove. Good in the field. Good in the clubhouse. But it's a lot of money. But the reason why I'm not getting crazy about this is because if it's on a 4 or 5 year deal, who cares? He's I think is he 29? Wait, is he 29? I'm pretty sure he's 29. So it'd be age 29, 30, 31, 32, 33 on a 5 year deal. I don't think that's that bad. Because look at Cody Bellinger. Cody Bellinger is at what? He's age 31. So if you give him a 7 year deal, which is what he wants, and he's going to be 32 this season, so you're paying him 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. You're paying Cody Bellinger to year 38. I am not giving Cody Bellinger that contract. I like Cody Bellinger too. I think he's more versatile than Tucker. But I'm not giving him that crazy of a deal. I can't. There's no way. But shout out to the Mets. Shout out to the Mets. Oh, he's 28. See, he's 28. I think he's going to be 29 in March. So if it's a 5 year deal, it's 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. That's a good deal. Shit, I might even go 6 years on this guy. Because you get him through age 34. You figure you live with the last year. Who gives a shit? But I'm okay with that. I'm honestly okay with that. And Stearns came out today. Do we have that Stearns video? Or do we have any other videos we can pull up right now for the fans? And I appreciate all you guys in here. Let me just pull up some of the videos today. A couple different things happened today. We'll just talk about Metsland. Again, all the talk is going to be on Cody Bellinger today. It's all about Cody. Cody Bellinger. Kyle Tucker. Everything's on Kyle Tucker. And again, it looks like he's going to sign. He's going to be the domino that trickles everything to go. So, David Stearns came out today. He spoke, and a lot of people were kind of reassured by that. I'm going to get the article where he did speak. Let me get to it right here. Hold on. Let me see. Let me pull it up. Bear with me now. I'm trying to get it. I got to look on my phone where it is. Could we bring that up by any chance or no? And Derek on X. And guys, if you're watching on X, just comment in the thread. I see you guys are all, kind of commenting on my X feed. If you guys just come in. And Derek gives a meme. Give that man his money from the famous movie Rounders. And I'm with Derek. I want to give him his money too. I want to give him his money, and I don't care. I don't care if it's for 5 years. I don't care if it's for 6 years. Kyle Tucker's a really good player. He's an all-around player. Now, I don't think he's a superstar, but he would help the Mets tremendously. And you could live with having Kyle Tucker and, a Carson Benj in center field, Tyrone Taylor. If you get Kyle Tucker in left, or you put him in right, wherever the Mets decide, you could live with having a hole in the order in the center field spot. I'm okay with that. But who knows? Maybe David Stearns has some tricks up his sleeve. I don't know. But I do know that these talks are serious. And I've talked to a couple different people. I'm in a couple different, group chats and whatnot. And I do know somebody in the media, very good guy. He's a personality on WFAN. And this is all hearsay. So do not think that I'm reporting this on my own. I am not. I'm just telling you what I heard. According to Jon Heyman, Kyle Tucker is a Met. And that's what I heard. So take that. Again, I am not a fucking reporter. I am a fan. I am part of the Mets Twitter community. I am not a fucking story breaker. I don't know the agents. I don't know any of these guys. But I do know some people. And from what I was told today, according to Jon Heyman thinks Kyle Tucker's coming to the Mets. Now, again, how long is he going to come? I don't know. Will he come for 5 years? Will he come for 6 years? Will he come for 4 years? But if he's 29, and you get him 29, 30, 31, 32, that's already a 4-year contract. 33, that's a 5-year contract to age 33. That's a good deal. That's a deal I could live with. So, Quays, let's pull up a couple of these these Jim Duquette and all these guys. We'll listen to the talking heads, and we're going to break it down. We'll get to what you guys think. Quays, can you pull that up for me, please? There you go. All right, it's coming up. I can't hear it. It's muted. It's muted, Quays. Quays. It's muted, brother. Quays, you got to unmute it. All right, we're having some technical difficulties, but we'll get it. In the chat, DJ says the Mets hitting coach was Tucker's hitting coach when he was with Houston, I believe. I think you're right about that. Yeah, that makes sense because they bought him over from Houston. And okay, here's the video. Sorry about that. So we just had some technical difficulties.
Mets and Kyle Tucker. Well, I think it's good news for a lot of reasons. First off, when you're meeting with a star player like this, you have to be able to talk to them either in person or face to face to let them know where you see the team going, the direction you're going. Why, and for the Mets, why did you get off track here in 2025? What do you have in mind for the future? Some of those things, you have ownership, which is a huge asset. I know in Toronto, their owner doesn't really isn't a part of any of these type of meetings. It's huge, I think positive from the Mets side of things. So ownership can sit there and back up what the front office is saying. In terms of intent, it shows your intent. Obviously, it creates the expectation level. I think even within your fan base. So there's so many good and positive things, especially in a winter that hasn't been positive so far. I think that, from the Mets side of things, this is a real good step in the right direction. Now they got to close the deal out.
Yeah, Duke, you've been one ray of hope here, feeding the Mets fans and Tucker together, getting the Mets involved with Tucker. So you mentioned it, they got to get him. So what will the Mets need to do to land Tucker?
I think right now it's widely felt that the Blue Jays have the longer-term deal, and there's 2 short-term deals, Mets and the Dodgers. Well, you're not winning that if it's close or if it's a tie. I mean, you're just not. That's the reality of the situation. And we already saw what happened there with Edwin Diaz there with the Dodgers. So I think if you're the Mets, and they have to be considering this. Do you up your offer?
Yes,
3 or 4 years. Do you push it forward to 5 years? I mean, he's 29 years old. Had a 840 or so OPS with a broken hand for a full month. He played through that. He's been a plus defender up until last year. Last year, he took a little bit of a step back in the metrics, but he was I think a 30 combined DRS, defensive run saves from 2021 through 2024. So he's a rare 5-tool guy, and you don't have to pay 8 or 9 years. Let's say it's 5 or 6 years, whatever that number is, getting him into his mid 30s. I'm comfortable with it as long as he's comfortable with coming to New York. And I think you don't know any of that until you have that face-to-face meeting.
Can we play that one more time? I just want to hear that one more time. Can we just run it back? Because I just want to hear what he said in the beginning. Just run it back. Run it all the way back. I don't care. It's not really too
good news, and for a lot of reasons. First off, when you're meeting with a star player like this, you have to be able to talk to them either in person or face to face to let them know where you see the team going, the direction you're going. Why, and for the Mets, why did you get off track here in 2025? What do you have in mind for the future? Some of those things, you have ownership, which is a huge asset. And I know in Toronto,
ownership
really isn't a part of any of these type of meetings. It's huge. I think positive from the Mets side of things. So ownership can sit there and back up what the front office is saying. Yeah, in terms of intent, it shows.
So wait, hold on there.
It creates the expectation.
Level, I think, just can you stop that real quick? What did he say? Ownership can back up. What the hell is he talking about right there? He's talking about Toronto's ownership, correct? So if we could just Go back. I just want to hear that right. I don't know how I heard that.
Office is saying, yeah, and Tuja said, I know in Toronto, their owner doesn't really isn't a part of any of these type of meetings. It's huge, I think
Okay.
positive from the Met side of things, so the ownership can sit there and back up what the front office is saying.
Okay.
In terms
So their ownership isn't involved, basically, is what he's saying. Toronto's ownership doesn't give a shit, whereas Steve Cohen and David Stearns are working hand in hand. That's what basically he just said. Okay, you can keep going.
of intent, it shows your intent. Obviously, it creates the expectation level, I think, even within your fan base. So there's so many good and positive things, especially in a winter that hasn't been positive so far. I think that from the Met side of things, this is a real good step in the right direction. Now they got to close the deal out.
Yeah, Duke, you've been the one ray of hope here, feeding the Met fans and Tucker together, getting the Mets involved with Tucker. So you mentioned it, they got to get him. So what will the Mets need to do to land Tucker?
I think right now it's widely felt that the Blue Jays have the longer-term deal, and there's two short-term deals, Mets and the Dodgers. Well, you're not winning that.
Now stop it right there. Stop right there. Stop right there.
I mean,
So Toronto has the longer term deal. The Mets and Dodgers have the shorter term deals. Now, the Dodgers are going to have to give him deferrals. There's no fucking way they're giving him a 3 or 4 year deal without him taking money out. And if you remember how I showed you that chart earlier of the odds to sign Tucker, the Dodgers weren't even on that. And as DJ said, it was up to 59% before. So that's that. So it is the Mets and Blue Jays, and I guarantee right now it's coming down to AAV. The Blue Jays are probably giving him somewhere along the lines of probably something I want to say 35 for 7, something like that. They're going to go long term. And the Mets are probably going to go like 45, 47, who knows, to over 4 to 5 years. Even though it was reported that 3 years, there's no fucking way he's signing for 3 years. No way. No way. So that's my take. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll eat it. But that's what I say. The Mets are going to give him 4 or 5 years at $45 million. That's what my key. So that would add up to what? So if that deal was to come to fruition, I'm going to go 45 times 5, 225. So that's the deal I'm giving Kyle Tucker. So 5 years, 225. And Jennifer says, I don't care if they give him 7, 8 years. They give him 7, 8 years, then the AAV comes down. Okay, we could keep playing this.
You're just not. That's the reality of the situation. And we already saw what happened there with Edwin Diaz there with the Dodgers. So I think if you're the Mets, and they have to be considering this. Do you up your offer? If the rumor's been 3 or 4 years, do you push it forward to 5 years? I mean, he's 29 years old, had a 840 or so OPS with a broken hand for a full month. He played through that. He's been a plus defender up until last year. Last year, he took a little bit of a step back in the metrics, but he was I think a 30 combined DRS, defensive run saves, from 2021 through 2024. So he's a rare 5-tool guy, and you don't have to pay 8 or 9 years. Let's say it's 5 or 6 years, whatever that number is, getting him into his mid 30s. I'm comfortable with it as long as he's comfortable with coming to New York. And I think you don't know any of that until you have that face-to-face meeting.
So did the Mets actually meet face-to-face with this guy, or it was all Zoom? From what I gathered, I think everything's been via Zoom call. I mean, at this point in the negotiations, I would think he's there. He's definitely visited the city of New York. He's definitely sat down. If they're that serious, which they are, he's definitely sat down with everybody, and they're offering him a big deal. They're offering him big bucks. And again, I think it's going to take $45 million just to get him in the door. Now, do I think he's going to have opt-outs? I do. But who knows? What if the Blue Jays come in and give him 10 years? And then he hits that $400 million that nobody thought he was going to hit. Remember, remember in the beginning of the year, beginning of free agency, people said he might get $400 to $500 million. So if it's at 10 years and at $40 million a year, there you go. That's that. And as my guy DJ says, the reports are conflicting on if it's in person. Could have been in Florida. True. Could have been in New York. Could have been Florida. Could have been in Arizona. Could have been anywhere. You don't know. Jennifer says 6 for 270. So that would be 45 a year for 6 years. I mean, he's worth it. He's worth it. All right, Quace, pull up the next clip for the people. Real quick. This is SMY tonight.
All the news surrounding Kyle Tucker and the New York Mets.
Yeah, so there's a ton of smoke right now on Kyle Tucker. I know the Mets are super serious about this, and there was a lovely little luncheon, a media luncheon today with David Stearns at Citi Field with some of the local beat reporters that cover the Mets. I was lucky to be there. I just came away, got back in the car, and went, man, they are really serious about Kyle Tucker, which kind of changes the tune about the way things might have been over the last few weeks with hypotheticals and this and that. And I was kind of surprised that they're so serious because a guy like Kyle Tucker, I think most of the market would imagine 7, 8, 9 years. And the Mets just don't play that game with position players. But once you're throwing out ideas where a guy's getting maybe $50 million a year in the short term, and then maybe his camp's coming back and floating that out, the market is right there. You know that they're interested. So certainly a big day in the Kyle Tucker market. And then the Mets would be very happy to have him.
Keith, what are your thoughts here on all the news surrounding Kyle Tucker and the New York Mets?
Yeah, so there's a ton of smoke right now on Kyle Tucker. I know the Mets are super serious about this, and there was a lovely little luncheon, a media luncheon today with David Stearns at Citi Field with some of the local beat reporters that cover the Mets. I was lucky to be there. And I just came away, got back in the car, and went, man, they are really serious about Kyle Tucker, which kind of changes the tune about the way things might have been over the last few weeks with hypotheticals and this and that. And I was kind of surprised that they're so serious because a guy like Kyle Tucker, I think most of the market would imagine 7, 8, 9 years. And the Mets just don't play that game with position players. But once you're throwing out ideas where a guy's getting maybe $50 million a year in the short term, and then maybe his camp's coming back and floating that out, the market is right there. You know that they're interested. So certainly a big day in the Kyle Tucker market, and then the Mets would be very happy to have him.
Keith, what are your thoughts here on all the news?
Yeah, well,
Kyle Tucker
I mean,
Mets?
Yeah, well, do we know exactly
right now on Kyle Tucker? I know the Mets
what Stearns said today?
And there was a lovely little luncheon, a media luncheon today with David Stearns at Citi Field.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. You get rid of this.
Beat reporters that cover the Mets. I was lucky to be there.
All right, I'm just trying to figure out. So the Mets had a luncheon today for their reporters, for the press. And Stearns spoke. I want to pull that up, and I want to know exactly what he spoke about. Because obviously Tucker was brought up. Because they wouldn't have talked about this if it wasn't. So let's see if I could get that tweet. And even if I have to, I'll even read it to you guys. It's fine. Let me see. Where is it? Oh, it's okay. So it's right here. All right. So here it is. Mets David Stearns, not blind to fan frustration. What we're doing is the right thing for our franchise. We are committed universally from ownership on down to ensure that the next 5 years of the Mets are better. Okay. So the story goes, it's been an off season of seismic changes for the Mets. Obviously, we all know that. We lost Alonso. We lost Nimmo. We get Gus Diaz. It is what it is. And the Mets still have plenty of moves to make between now and opening day. Pobo Stearns sat down with reporters on Tuesday to discuss where things currently stand with the club. All right, we already know about the losses of Alonso. We don't have to bring up all that. So he says, we've said goodbye to players who have performed really well here. People we care a lot about, players that our fans care a lot about, who have meshed well with our community, who have done what we as an organization have asked them to do for a long time. And that's a really tough, and we recognize that, Stearns said. Excuse me. And we're doing all of that because we are committed universally from ownership on down to ensure that the next 5 years of Mets are better, and that we win more games and meet the lofty expectations that we have for ourselves than what we've done previously. What we've done previously has not been good enough. We all know that. I certainly know that, and we've got to do better. And we're committed to doing that. All right. We have tremendous ownership support to do that. We have elite talent at the top of our major league roster. We have a very good farm system. We've got a very good present day major league team as we sit here today. That's going to get better before we get to opening day. So there you go. He just gave you a little, tidbit right there that he's going to improve this club. And Eddie, I'll get to everybody's comments as soon as I'm done reading this video. Stearns added that the Mets currently have a mix of truly elite talent on our major league team, combined with some young players who have already established themselves at the major league level and are ready to make the next step. Now, I don't know who he means there. I'm assuming it's Beatty. I'm assuming it's Vientos. I'm assuming it's Alvarez. And obviously some pitchers. But is he also talking about Carson Benz there? That I don't know. Okay. And then he goes on to say we have a pretty unique combination right now of MVP caliber talent up top, players who have already established themselves at the major league level, who are at a point in their career where there is potential, not the certainty, but the potential for a jump, and really exciting premium young prospects who are going to hit the major league level. That is an enviable place for any organization to be. All right. And then he talks about the timing of these statements is certainly of note, considering there's now reports that the Mets have offered Kyle Tucker a short-term deal worth $50 million per season. Okay, so that's that. So that's why I was saying before, I think you could probably, if you go high enough on the years, you may be able to get that down to 45 for 5, something like that. Like I said before, maybe you go 6. I mean, he's pretty young. So, losing fan favorite pieces like Diaz and Alonso hasn't been an easy pill to swallow, but potentially adding Tucker, the best position player available via free agency this year, would completely change the narrative for the Mets. And Stearns is committed to doing whatever it takes to achieve the ultimate goal. I certainly understand there has been points this offseason that have been frustrating for our fan base. We're not blind to that at all, Stearns said. I'm certainly not blind to that. I hear that. I recognize it. I hear it from my friends and family at times. I'm also very convicted that what we are doing is the right thing for our franchise going forward to accomplish our goals of creating a consistent playoff team, a team that year after year is a true World Series contender, and ultimately a team that does what we are all here to do, which is to win a World Series, and that's why we are doing all of this. That is David Stearns, ladies and gentlemen. So it sounds like to me the New York Mets and Kyle Tucker are close. And that's why you're seeing these odds on these various sites on across the internet are showing that the Mets are the favorite to land Tucker. Let me get to Eddie over here. Eddie says, haha, Mets, especially with such a great chemistry as a team, haha, Tucker will not join Mets bunch of divas. Okay, so it doesn't sound like Eddie's a Met fan. Crypto says Stearns will get him. Okay. Again, I think the Mets are the favorites. Do I think we can land him? 100%. But I think the bottom line is it's going to come down to how many years he wants. If he wants 5 years, we're the team for him. If he wants something like 7 to 10 years, the Blue Jays are the team for him. Again, he's not that old. And if you're making $50 million a year, that's a lot of money. And if you know the Mets are going to put opt-outs in this to get him. So, we'll see. Shout out to my guy Mitch. What up, Mitch? Appreciate you, brother. Where you standing on Kyle Tucker? I want to know what everybody has a deal for Tucker. I know a lot of people gave me their deals. I gave you mine. I said, what did I say? I think I said 5 for 225, which would be $45 million a year. That's what I said. But it looks like the Mets will go to 250, so maybe it's 250. We'll see. Where are you guys at? DJ says there's really not too many young free agents available like him this offseason to come. I think Ellie is free in like 5 years. I think he's talking about Ellie De La Cruz, I guess. Ellie? I guess that's what it is. And again, if you're on X, you got to come in, open up the stream, and comment there so I could see it. I know a lot of you guys post on YouTube and on my X. I can't see it. I have to pull it up on my phone. James says, get him. Get him. And James, I'm with you, and I think most Mets fans are with you. Just fucking get the guy. And if you get Tucker, do you know what a difference it's going to make? I mean, your 1 through 4 is incredible. You got Francisco Lindor. All right, he's leading off. Simeon's probably batting second. Soto third. Tucker fourth. I mean, and then you got Beatty. You got what's his name? The guy we got from Seattle. I'm forgetting his name, but we got him. Alvarez. Carson Benz was probably going to be here. Tyrone Taylor's going to be here. Vientos in there somewhere. So again, we're looking good. We're looking good. Mitch says, I'm a Cubs fan. With Tucker last year, the high ends were super high. Long stretches where he was where he was sensational at the plate. The cold streaks were really bad though. Super streaky last year. But Mitch, I will say this. Tucker was hurt, right? He wasn't fully healthy last year. So, you got to take that into account. But we'll see. Again, I think we're close. I think news is going to break soon. I think it's either tonight, maybe I think tonight or tomorrow, we're going to see a Kyle Tucker deal get done. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But I just feel like the momentum is going that way. And when you start hearing this many reports, it's usually close to guys sign, right? I mean, we saw this in the winter meetings. When you start seeing a lot of reports, it's close. It's close. And my guy G says, Tucker was hurt and also adjusting to a new park and fan base. Okay, Mitch answers back. Multiple injuries last year, yep. Would be a huge bat for the Mets, yeah. I mean, look, he was injured. But, again, he's a guy that doesn't strike out a lot. When he does hit, he hits, he's not a 40 home run guy, but he's a 30 home run guy. High on base percentage, super high OPS when he's not hurt. Again, I like Bellinger too. Don't get me wrong. I would get Bellinger too, but it seems to me like the Mets and David Stearns prefer Kyle Tucker. Sherry says, what if Tucker will be a J? What's the pivot? Bailey. I guess it's got to be Bellinger, right? If Tucker goes to the Blue Jays, it's got to be Bellinger. But again, the Yankees don't want to offer him more than 5 years. And the Yankees, they don't even give a shit. They're like, fuck you. They basically told him, get lost. I'm not giving you 6 years. And I respect it. And I think the Mets would offer Bellinger a lot less years than they would Tucker. Because think about it. If Bellinger's 3 years old? Bellinger's going to be 32 this year, and Tucker's going to be 29. So that's a 3-year difference. You really want to give Cody? I mean, the only good thing about Bellinger is you get him for the first 2 years, you could put him in center field. Then years 3, 4, 5, if he signs a 5-year deal, at the end you can move him to first base. And he's a really good first baseman. And he's long enough where, he has range. He's a tall, lanky guy. So he's an awesome first baseman. Incredible. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't know what the pivot is, but I would think it's got to be Cody Bellinger if it's the Mets. Do we have any other videos, Quays? I want to see if we have any other videos, any other updates. I know you guys probably heard the Will Salmon article, right? I mean, but again, the Will Salmon article now is kind of almost outdated because we've learned since the beginning of the day it started at $40 million and now it's up to $50 million a year. So we'll see. Tim Britton wrote about the Mets in The Athletic. I think we have what's his name? All right, the guy from SNY. Yeah, let's pull him up. Let's see this interview. Pull up pull that one up. Yeah, Steve Gelbs.
All right, some Mets news for you. We had the opportunity today to speak with David Stearns, his first wide-ranging comments to the media about an offseason that so far has angered and saddened a lot of New York Mets fans. And give him credit, Stearns did not shy away from that. Right off the bat, acknowledged the frustration people who love this team are feeling right now. He says he doesn't just hear it from the fans, but from his own friends and family too. Because remember, David Stearns comes from a Mets family. He grew up a diehard Mets fan, and he talked about that as well, about his own emotional connection to this franchise, how much he loves this team, and how, in large part, he took this job because he truly wants to set the franchise up for sustained success, even if that means making difficult and unpopular decisions along the way. And Stearns does have a lot of conviction that what is happening right now will position this team well for years to come in the future. But he also said, and he was clear about this, that it's not just about the future. The Mets expect to win now in 2026. And from David's perspective, he thinks this team is currently constituted is a good one and that it's going to get better. Now, we asked him why he believes that, and he pointed to three things. Number one, truly elite top-end talent, guys like Soto and Lindor. Number two, young players who have established themselves, but he feels they're ready to take that next step. Guys like Brett Baty and Francisco Alvarez. And then three, what's viewed as a very strong top end of the minor league system. Now, let's be frank. That is relying on a lot of youth. And that is something that, again, Stearns did not shy away from. He wasn't naive about it. Acknowledged that youth brings uncertainty, that young players can at times make you uncomfortable. But he feels like they have a really special crop of young players, especially young starting pitching. And they're going to roll with it. Now, as I mentioned earlier, he also expects this roster to improve before the season begins. Stearns wouldn't comment on specific players, but we know there are still impactful names out there. The interest in Kyle Tucker is real. It's been widely reported. And so an addition like that would obviously help with what they're trying to accomplish in 2026. Overall, time will tell if any of this works. But what today felt was like we were talking to someone who understands the anger, but who is willing to take the heat because he is convinced that this is the right path forward and that there's a lot of talent currently in this organization.
Okay. I mean, a lot of good things there, but we kind of knew that, right? I mean, we know that, we're banking on bounce back years from Baty, and we're hoping Baty actually takes the next step, becoming I'm not going to say a star, but an established major league veteran, right? That's what we want out of Baty. Okay, Francisco Alvarez, how about a full season? Francisco, just give me a full season. That's all I want. Give me a full season. Give me 20 home runs. Don't strike out like crazy, but I know you're a high strikeout guy. And, then you got guys like Carson Bench. To me, question mark. All these, minor league guys to me are huge question marks. I don't know what to make of them. I read their profiles. I go on the YouTube and watch them. But, it's always different when they get up here because if a guy has it or not. I mean, that's not necessarily true, but, sometimes guys have an it factor. Guys have, pizzazz and, what's that word? The Riz. They just connect. And you could see that instantly with some players and some players you don't. It takes a while, like Baty, for example. And Baty's been up here for years. Vientos, I think, falls into this category. And it got also, too, I haven't even mentioned the starting pitching. The Mets haven't even addressed the starting pitching at all this year. So I think right now the focus is on Tucker because Tucker's going to be the first name off the board. And if we get Tucker, then you go and you move out and you go out to go out and land a starting pitcher. Yankees made a trade for one today. I forgot who it was, a guy off the Marlins. But again, also the Mets checked in on I think it was the Colorado center fielder. They checked in on him. I forget where it's from, but he's kind of in the same category as Luis Robert. Quays, if you could find that, I think it's on SNY. It was the Mets are looking into a trade for possibly getting the center fielder on the Rockies. If I could find it, I'll bring it up to the audience. Hold on. But with that said, you could see that, we're going in a totally different direction, and there's a plan. I've came on here and I've killed this team. I said we got no plan. I said, I was killing Stearns, but naturally I'm going to kill Stearns. When you lose those Pete Alonso and you lose Diaz and you lose, Nimmo, and you don't get much back, you get pissed off, which I was. Yeah, that was the article right there. I was pissed off. I was pissed off about it. So, if we get Tucker, I'm going to feel tremendously better. Tremendously. I don't care. Yeah, here it is right here. Can we just zoom in on it? This is the center fielder of the Rockies. Yeah, zoom in. It's Brendan Doyle. Excuse me, Brenton Doyle. And according to industry sources, he was a Gold Glover in 23-24. 38 home runs, 48 stolen bases since 2024, as viewed as a cheaper version of Luis Robert, earning just $3.1 million in 2026, and he's under control through 2029. So that gives you 26, 27, 28, 29. That gives you 4 years of control. That would be a major. This guy's a Gold Glove center fielder. That would be a major trade for me. Let me pull up his numbers real quick. I want to see. I know last year his numbers were not that great. So let me pull them up. Jay, comments are already saying Jay's got Robert already has a higher upside. Okay. Well, let's look at this. What was his name? Doyle? What was his name? Doyle, right? Can you pull it up back up again? How do you spell that last name? Quays? There we go. Doyle. I knew it. Okay. I want to make sure I spell it right. So this guy's all right. 6'3", 220 pounds. Last year, batted .233, 15 homers. 27 years old, so he's not that young. But in 2024, had a good year. 82 runs, 140 hits, 24 doubles, 23 home runs, 72 ribbies, 30 stolen bases. Strikes out a lot. Doesn't walk too much. His on base is under 300. So he is kind of like a Luis Robert. But he's much cheaper. He's only making $3 million. But I would take a flyer on this guy. Why not? 2 Gold Gloves. 1 at third. 1 in center. I think this would be a good deal. Now again, it depends what you give up for him, of course. But I can't see this guy going for like major pieces. Could you get Doyle for a Vientos? Probably. Jay says that he couldn't hit righties last year. So he says he'd be a platoon with Benj. Okay. I don't know. Again, it's all depending on the cost. If you could get this guy for, a couple prospects, low-level guys, sure, go sign me up. But he's got a lot of team control left, 4 years, making $3 million. And again, you got to factor in the Colorado situation into it too. Colorado numbers are kind of skewed. Let me get to some of the other comments. Mets teabag junkies for their players. Okay, that's just these guys are just having some fun. All right, so that's that. Do we have any other things? I think we have another video. This is in the Mets pod. These guys were talking earlier today. Let's hear from them. I know
Here's
these
my
guys.
question about Carson Bench possibly being ready for center field on opening day. He did great at single A and double A, but ran into a wall at triple A. What about his performance at triple A suggests he is MLB ready? Seems like he needs time at triple A to put triple A behind him, as Terry Collins used to say. What am I missing?
So I would actually probably largely agree. Like
Right.
when David Stern said that he's coming to camp with the chance to make the roster, I mean, y'all listen to this podcast. I was relatively surprised at that response. With that said, to try to get in the brain of what the Mets could be thinking when it comes to Carson Bench and maybe being an option for opening day. At AAA, he got injured, wrist, hand,
Okay.
and when he came back, it took a little bit for him to get back into the rhythm of things. But over the last 7-8 games, he kind of looked like himself. I know it's a small sample, so to not just say
So is the
"Hey,
other
he was-
games, though.
he was good for a week, so he's ready. Like I understand that's not the case here. But when you look kind of under the hood, the batted ball data was really impressive. Exit velocities, ability to barrel the ball, the swing decisions that he made. Like it's small sample sizes, but Carson Bench, whether it is opening day or not opening day, I think he's coming to camp with the opportunity to compete. And if he has a great spring training, he can make the roster opening day.
Okay. All right. So I agree. I think that Benj will be on the roster on opening day. But again, you got to see how these guys play in spring training. Sometimes they come up and they have a bad spring. They get sent down to start the season. So this guy being the center fielder, I got to see what Benj could do in spring training. And again, sometimes you get fooled. Sometimes they tear up spring training. The regular season starts and guys, are just overwhelmed, by Major League pitching. It's their first experience. And other times guys just come right in and fit seamlessly, kind of like if you remember Pete Alonso when he came up and was invited to spring training, had a big spring training, and that was Brody was just like, fuck it, let's just put this guy in. And Pete was great, hit 52 or 53 homers, whatever it was. And, that's the good example. But there's been a million other guys that don't have great spring training and guys that do. Excuse me for 1 second. But what I was saying is, it all depends what happens in spring training. Now, Benj is going to come up. If he looks good and he does enough to make the club, he'll be here. I expect Tyrone Taylor to be here too. I think that's a definite. I don't think that's without a doubt. And again, he's making what? He's making nothing. And you could platoon the two of them. Or, if Benj actually takes the leap forward, maybe he could be your everyday starting center fielder. Maybe he, hits lefties, hits righties, you don't know. But I do know both of them project as plus fielders. So it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see what happens. But again, it's nice to see that the Mets are looking at other options like Doyle, and like Luis Robert. And again, I think if we make a trade for a center fielder, it's going to happen after Tucker. It has to happen after Tucker. Tucker, I think, is right now the Mets' priority number one. And just a little strange, just so happened that David Stearns, of all days, comes out of the woodwork today. I mean, this guy's been, hiding basically since the winter meetings when all the guys left. He's been an MI. We haven't even heard from Stearns. And the fact that he had a luncheon today with the press, that tells me that, something is going to give. So again, we'll see. And we're going to see what happens. So, I think it's going to come to a head either today, tomorrow, or it could happen even overnight. Who fucking knows? If it does happen, I'm going live. It's just going to come down to does he take the years or does he take the money? Or does he want to be on a contender? Because if he wants to be on a contender, then we're screwed. If he wants to be on a contender, then we can't compete with the Dodgers and we can't compete with the Blue Jays. We can't compete with them with that. Excuse me 1 second. But like I said, if it's about money, the New York Mets are the team Tucker goes to. Because we are going to offer him $50 million a year for probably 5 years. I think 5 years, maybe we go 6. Who knows? But if we get him for 5 years, $250 million, probably he's going to get an opt out in there, maybe after 1 or 2 years. And think if you're Tucker and you can make $100 million in 2 years, that's a pretty good deal. So you go for it. But if Tucker, doesn't want pressure, and Tucker doesn't want, or he wants to go to a real contender, then the Blue Jays are the favorites. Let's be perfectly honest. Right? Because Blue Jays were this close to winning the World Series. And the Dodgers are in it every single year. Every single year they're in it. And I would have to think that the Dodgers will be in it again next year. Now, will they win the National League? Who knows? Never knows. Guys get hurt. Things change year to year. But the Blue Jays look like they are on a mission to come back. And if Kyle Tucker decides he wants to go to a contender, then it's the Blue Jays are going to be the team he signs with. But if it's about the money, then I think the New York Mets have the leg up on everybody. And that's where I'm at. But hold on, everybody. We got a special guest right now. I was just about to wrap this up. But I got a man here, a very good friend of mine, a very big part of Mets Twitter, one of the biggest, as a matter of fact, one of the best content creators in the game, my man, Hector. What up, my guy?
What's going on, my brother? What's going on?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm good, man. I just came in a little while ago. I'm taking this little umpire class. My bad. My camera's up. I dropped it earlier.
You're learning all the techniques, and you're gonna be calling games. Now that's a fucking strike.
Yeah, learning some rules that you think you know, and then you find out you don't know jack, and then we do mechanics and all that good stuff. But with everything going on, I was like, man, I gotta go live. I had even hit Quays up, like, yo, I think I gotta go live tonight. And then I come and I see that you're on. I'm like, Eddie, you're on. Put me on. Put me on. Let me in, man.
100%.
So, nah, man. David Stearns has kind of put himself in a corner, huh?
Right? He had a luncheon with the press, and he talked about a lot of things. When there's smoke, there is fire.
Yeah,
and I think,
but,
I think he would. I think we're this close to signing Tucker. Could be wrong, but if you're telling me they're ready to give this guy $50 million a year, we got to be the favorites.
Yeah.
Right?
It's about money, and if he feels he could come here and win, right? You would think. I mean, if he only cares about the money and trying to get out, I wonder if
Is he a Boris guy, Heck?
I don't think so.
No, right? Okay.
I'm not sure. I wonder if there's going to be opt-outs in that deal, and when it would be.
Has to
Would it
be.
be after 1 year? Would it be 2 years? Are there no opt-outs? Is it a straight 3-year deal? If it was me, that's what I would be trying to do. I'm gonna give you $50 million a year, 3 years, no opt-outs.
But Heck, don't you think he could get probably 4 years out of us, 5 years out of us?
If we want him that bad.
Because again, age 29.
That comes into. Listen, one thing is obvious. David Stearns is willing to go short-term high AAV with no problem. That is an outrageous AAV, in my opinion.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But it's only for 3 years. The question becomes now, is he willing to go 4 or 5 years? I saw that there was a report. I don't know how. I don't know who it came from. I forget who it came from or whatever. Don't know how true it is. We don't know how true any of this stuff is.
No.
But with everything that was going on today, I saw that the Blue Jays offered 8 years.
Right.
You know, so does he want the longevity?
Does he want to be in a contender?
Does he feel like they're more of a contender than we are? Right? On paper, you could say that they are. They
100%.
were the runner-up to the World Series, right? They lost in the World Series. So that all comes into play. Or if the Dodgers are offering the 4 or 5, does he feel better about that? You hear maybe he doesn't want to go play in Toronto. Listen, the rumor was, or the idea was, not the rumor, the idea was, the thought was that this guy was going to get something along 10 to 12 years without question. And we see now
Initially,
right.
Mhm.
And we see now that he's nowhere near that. So is he still like want the longevity, or does he just want to prove himself again, like Bellinger's been doing, and
Right.
try to get that deal in a few more years? That's what we need to, or that's what we'll find out, I guess, when he makes a decision. But that's just everything that we heard today from David Stearns, and how he feels good about where the team is, and how he's trying to put us in a good position. And it's things that we've been talking about and things I've been saying, right? As frustrating as this has been,
Right.
I still believe that he's doing things that he sees are in the best interest of the New York Mets.
Behind the scenes.
Now, one thing I got to back off of is, I've been talking about, okay, maybe he's not trying to contend for a title. Well, he debunked that today.
Yes.
And we're trying to win right now.
Yeah.
But we're also trying to put ourselves in the best position to be the best organization we can be for the next 5 years.
Right.
I don't know why he picked 5 years.
Yeah,
But
I kind of respected it though, because
I do.
remember we were told when Cohen bought, we're going to be the Dodgers in 5 years. I'm paraphrasing, whatever. We'll get a World Series within 5 years. We want to be the Dodgers of the, East. And again, yes, that's all great when you say it, but doing it is a totally different story. And I think Stearns, I killed him. I was pissed off. You were pissed off. We were all pissed off that we lost Diaz and Alonso and, didn't really replace them. But I do know now there's a plan. I do know now he's aggressive. I just think when it comes to Kyle Tucker, this is the first domino to fall for the Mets, at least. And I think then they'll go after their second and third, needs, such as starting pitching, such as getting a center fielder in here. Like, today they were tied to Colorado center fielder, Doyle, so we'll see,
Yeah, I heard you say that. I didn't even see that. But I don't know. I wouldn't say that I killed them when we didn't bring those guys back, because I expected it. I had already expected it. And I kept telling you, there's a plan. We just don't want to accept the plan.
Correct.
We don't like the plan. But there's always been a plan. You know what I'm saying? And like I had said earlier today, Eddie, listen, if he's able to bring in Kyle Tucker on a short-term deal, if he's able to go out now and swing a trade for a Skubal, because the Tigers feel like, you know what, we're going to lose in arbitration. This is just going to be a mess. We might as well make this move now. Then he's going to look like the boy genius that people have fun calling him.
Correct.
Right? Because he played the market, both the trade market and the free agency market, to the T.
Right.
And they played out exactly how he thought it would.
Yeah, I mean,
probably the number one free agent. I don't know. You could pick Bellinger, Tucker. I would say Tucker's the number one guy.
Tucker,
right?
It's Tucker based on age.
You're able to get him, and not only you're able to get him, but you're able to get him on your terms.
Correct.
The AV is high, but you're still able to get him on your terms. And to be honest, that's really what I'm concerned with as well, is the years. Right? I don't want to sign none of these guys for 8, 9, 10 years.
No.
You understand what I'm saying? So I'm kind of with Stearns like that. Nah, I wouldn't mind 5 years.
I don't either. I think I can even live with the 6-year deal with Tucker.
Yeah, 5, 6 years. I would even do that. You know what I'm saying? But if he's able to do it and get him on his terms,
which is crazy.
You know, like, man, we got to step back and say, you know what?
Sorry.
we really gotta give this guy the benefit of the doubt for
Right.
that one. And
Right.
just let him really cook. You
Yeah.
know? But we'll see what happens because the reality is that the Blue Jays and the Dodgers are better options. Now it's just a
Right.
matter of what Kyle Tucker feels comfortable with.
Does
If
he
all of
want
these
the
things are true,
years?
right? Because I do wonder, Eddie, how the hell are we getting all this information? We know it's not the Mets leaking it, right?
No.
We've talked about over and over and over how the Mets don't leak anything. Usually, when I hear stuff like this, I totally dismiss the Mets and I say it's not going to happen because now we're hearing about it.
No, but there's
it
been
doesn't-
so much smoke with this. I think there's legs this time.
No, yeah, I'm not saying that there's not legs. I'm just saying I wonder why. So, could this be Kyle Tucker's representatives acting a little bit like Scott Boras, right? And saying, you know what? We don't want to go to the Mets,
Huh.
but let's get them involved,
Right.
and we can maybe force these other teams to up their offers a little bit. I've been
No.
saying it. The reason why this market has been so stale, too, part of it to me is because if you don't have the big spenders involved, then who the hell are you going to get to bid against each other?
No.
But now you have the Mets supposedly, quote unquote, listen, involved. You know, I don't know. I don't
And
know.
the fact that he took lunch with the media says to me that this thing has legs too.
Because we don't. Nah, I don't put anything to that because we
I don't
don't
know,
know.
because-
We don't know how long that was planned. That could have been planned for a couple of weeks already, and then now this is all coming out. You know what I'm saying? And that just
Somebody in the
happened to
chat
coincide.
said this. Heck.
Sports radio show in Toronto mentioned the Mets were in on Tucker. That's how it started.
Mm. Interesting.
Why? I wonder why that sports show mentioned it. What was the context of them mentioning it? Mentioning.
I would love to know. I would love to
And
hear
then
the actual conversation.
Who leaked it to them? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right. Could it be his agent? He's represented by the same agent as Kyle Schwarber. It's called XL Sports.
Okay.
Hold on, I'll tell you who else they got. They have Schwarber, Dansby Swanson, so it's called XL Sports.
Maybe he really wants to go to Toronto, but wants a little bit more. And they said, you know what? We'll get this going out there in Toronto sports radio.
Mhm.
It'll get some if it gets legs. And once it gets to New York, forget about it. And here we are. I don't know.
I mean,
but I do think even if, come on, man, like you have to be like at the physical level. If you're gonna call a luncheon and talk about how good you feel, and that there's still stuff to come with this team, while all of this noise is going on, and then you don't end up with the player, like
that would be a bit of a disaster.
you know what I'm saying. So that's why I don't think he would put himself in that spot. Me personally, but I don't know. I think that's just coincidence. Honestly, me.
If you were to guess, what would you guess a deal with Kyle Tucker to the Mets looks like? I said anywhere between 45 to 50 million over 5 years. I say it starts with 5 years. And
why do we need to guess anymore? And you say it starts with 5 years. We know what they're talking about. They're talking 3 years, 50 mil AAV. Why do I have to guess? That's what they're talking about.
But
Now,
you don't think
are
that
you,
could
are
have
you
been
saying that
leaked?
what it's going to finally take?
Right. Do you get what I'm saying though? Because the little 3 years, 120 million. Now all of a sudden, hours later after that, it goes from 120 million to now we're up to
The
50
first
million
was
AAV.
the first was the first was early this morning
Yes.
by John Mancone, who said the Mets have made an offer to Kyle Tucker in the realms of a 50 million AAV. Now he didn't say how many years. He said 50 million AAV. Then Will Salmon came out and said the Mets have in fact spoken contract with Kyle Tucker, more along the lines of 3 years, 120 to 140. After that, I forget who it was that came out. I think Robert Murray came out and said, no. Yeah, the Mets have in fact offered a deal of 50 million AAV to Kyle Tucker. And then Heyman backed it up. And I forget who else. So listen, again, why are we getting all this information? I don't know, man. I don't know. I wish it broke right now.
It's got to be close. Like
I wish we got a passing bomb right now.
It's I agree. Or maybe it could be Heyman. It could be anybody because we nobody.
Yeah.
Remember the who was it?
It could
Bregman.
be John Mincone.
Yeah, could be John.
They might as well give it to him. If that's the deal, if the deal is 3 years, 50 million, they have to give it to John Mincone, man. He has to
I hope so.
They got to do that.
So if you're Tucker, you can make $100 million after 2 years and opt out. You're taking that fucking deal. I think
that's the question I have. Do you give him the opt out after 1 or 2 years?
I if I'm giving you 50 million years, I got to get 2 years off of you.
I agree.
You know,
I don't even want to give you an opt out, but I
would-
understand. I get it.
Right.
I'll
Get
give
to-
it to you after 2.
Yeah.
But I might even try to put something in there for me to negate that opt out or something. I don't know. Maybe kick it
like a
another-
third year option worth 55.
right,
something
whatever.
crazy.
Yeah. I could kick in another 5 with another 5-minute signing bonus for a total of 10. I don't know. Get crazy. But I'm only gonna do that if the guy is like shit. You know what I'm saying? Like
I mean, Kyle Tucker's good, Hector, but Kyle Tucker is not Aaron Judge good. He's not Juan Soto good.
He's not 50 million good.
No. But considering where the Mets are, if they were to get him, he does elevate the team's ceiling that much higher. You know, we're talking about Gold Glover, high on base guy, low strikeout guy, which is something we spoke about. You know, all the strikeouts last year was destroying us.
No, for sure. It deepens the lineup.
Yeah.
You know, you look at the projected lineups right now, and obviously, listen, if it's not Tucker, then maybe it's a trade or something. You got to bring in another bat in here.
Yeah.
Right?
Without a
you
doubt.
look at the projected lineups, and you've got Lindor leading off, Simeon batting second, Soto third, Polanco fourth.
Polanco. Beatty fifth, or is it
Vientos
Alvarez?
fifth.
Oh, Vientos fifth, yeah, righty.
I think it's Beatty sixth.
Alvarez seven.
Alvi 7. Now you bring in Tucker, put him wherever the hell you want in the top 4.
Or he could be even no, because you got it. He's going to be the top 4
Put
because
him wherever the hell you want.
yeah, Polanco.
When I saw that, I was like, all right, you get Tucker, you put him 5th, and people went crazy. Are you nuts? He has to bat in the top 3. I said, okay, put him wherever the hell you want. But now that means that Vientos drops down to 6. Beatty, if he's even still around, Beatty down to 7. Alvi 8. Now I'm okay with whoever the hell you want.
Yeah, I don't care about Tyrone Taylor being in center field.
Exactly.
Anymore.
Bench or Taylor.
Yeah,
At that
either
point,
one.
Fuck it. If Bench could win the job in spring training, give him a damn job.
Yeah.
And let him run with it.
But he's got to win that job. I'm not just handing it to him.
I just said if he wins the job out of spring training, you know, but you have to have Kyle Tucker there. If you don't, and you're starting Benj in left field and Taylor in center and freaking Juan Soto in right, it makes me nauseous.
I agree. And again, Stearns did come out. He did say, you know, he expects bounce back years from Alvi and Beatty. He said that. That's what at least that's how I interpreted it. Okay.
Yep.
However, he still hasn't addressed the pitching. So I'm assuming that's either a trade or free agent signing.
And also bounce back years, and they have high
Yes.
expectation for the young guys coming up. Pitchers.
Right.
They really believe in these guys, bro.
He definitely believes in them.
Let me see.
But
I
think
I can share, right? Let me see.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know if you saw this. Give me a second here. Okay, here goes. It's about 2.5 minutes. And
Okay.
thanks for letting me on.
No,
Um,
right. Come on, you kidding me?
And I know you was about to get out of here. And I don't want to be on it. It's already late.
That's
But
okay.
it's Steve Gelbs talking about stuff that he said to where we were just talking about and the pitching and all that. I think you got to bring it up to the screen. I can't bring it
Hey,
up.
Quaze, can you bring that up? Let me see. Here it is.
He's even here. What the hell is this guy doing? Hi, Quaze. You forgot what the hell your job is?
There we go.
How much he
Okay,
loves
yeah, we heard
Now-
this one.
All right, some Mets news for you. We had the opportunity today to speak with David Stearns, his first wide-ranging comments to the media about an offseason that
Did you guys play this by any chance? I don't want to
Yeah,
play
it's,
it.
yeah, but it's okay.
Oh, no. Okay, my bad.
First, like 10 minutes or 15 minutes. So go ahead.
so far has angered and saddened a lot of New York Mets fans. And give him credit, Stearns did not shy away from that. Right off the bat, acknowledged the frustration people who love this team are feeling right now. He says he doesn't just hear it from the fans, but from his own friends and family too, because remember, David Stearns comes from a Mets family. He grew up a diehard Mets fan, and he talked about that as well, about his own emotional connection to this franchise, how much he loves this team, and how, in large part, he took this job because he truly wants to set the franchise up for sustained success, even if that means making difficult and unpopular decisions along the way. And Stearns does have a lot of conviction that
Hey, we got to respect that, man.
Right.
Like, we've all wanted that. And listen, it's not going to be fun along the way. There's going to be times like we're having right now of uneasiness, of frustration. Like I said last night, closing my show. As we fix this, there's going to be some bumps in the road, you know?
Correct.
But at the end of the day, man, I really do, Eddie. Listen, I know maybe you haven't, and I know I've been frustrated, you could say, or whatever the case may be.
We've all been.
But I really do believe we are in good hands, bro. I really do believe we have good ownership, man.
For
All
sure.
This nonsense about he doesn't care and all they care about is a casino and all. No. They care.
100% they care.
As Steve Gelbs says, I believe he said it, quoting Stearns, it hasn't worked.
No.
That's the reality, man.
We tried
you
it.
Guys, people like you have said it more than me.
Oh, forget about
I've
it.
recognized it, but I've always felt like with the right moves, we can do it with these guys. But
We
man,
tried.
what's done is done. What's done is done.
Right.
And we need to recognize that it really didn't work.
Right.
Could it have worked? Maybe. But the person in charge of making the decision said, you know what? It's not going to work, and I'm not going to waste no more time or any more time.
We had to rip the Band-Aid off, Hector.
Exactly.
We had
You've been
to.
saying that for how long?
Right. And I would scream about the core. We talked many times on our show that we said, can we really win with these guys? And the
That's why I
fact that
feel like we can't be hypocrites, man.
no, you're, and I agree with you. The fact
Bring it
that we
back,
added Juan Soto to that 2024 team and we ended up worse, that just says to me that we gave these guys enough chances. It's time. Now, I was pissed off that we didn't replace Pete's power, but if the plan all along was to wait out the best free agents and the Mets then end up with Kyle Tucker and then we end up with a pitcher, starting pitcher that we need, and maybe one or two other players, I will be excited, I will be happy, and I will be reinvigorated as a Mets fan. Because 2 months ago, or a month ago, I guess you would have said, a month ago, I was down. We all were. When we lost Diaz and Pete, and it was like, wow. It was a shock. But they have a plan. They're sticking to it, and they're doing it on their terms. And they seem like they really know what they're doing. So I'm going to shut my mouth, and I'm going to let this play out. Even if we don't get Kyle Tucker, I'm going to let it play out. I want him, but I'm going to let it play out. I do think we'll get some bounce back years. I do. I do think the bullpen is much better. It's just a matter of can this lineup actually guys come back and stay on the field, and can we be a better defensive team than we were? Because let's be honest, we were a terrible defensive team at some points last year. So
he said that. He said
Yeah.
that. He said he called around the league. They spoke to the executives, coaches around the league, and they asked him straight up, like, "Yo, what's your assessment of our team?" And if you listen to Gilbs again, if you guys bring it back, Quays, if you guys saw it, he said, "Yo, they said our defense was no good."
Yep.
But to
Was-
what I was saying before, where he made me eat my words, here's him talking about Stern saying, "Yo, it's not just about the future. It's not just about the future. Yes,
It's about the
we
next
want to
5
make
years.
moves for the next 5 years, but we're also trying to win now." So Hector, shut the hell up. Here it goes.
Not just about the future. The Mets expect to win well for years to come in the future.
Sorry.
It means making difficult and unpopular decisions along the way. And Stearns does have a lot of conviction that what is happening right now will position this team well for years to come in the future. But he also said, and he was clear about this, that it's not just about the future. The Mets expect to win now in 2026. And from David's perspective, he thinks this team is currently constituted is a good one and that it's going to get better. Now, we asked him why he believes that, and he pointed to 3 things. Number 1, truly elite top-end talent, guys like Soto and Lindor. Number 2, young players who have established themselves, but he feels are ready to take that next step, guys like Brett Beatty and Francisco Alvarez. And then 3, what's viewed as a very strong top end of the minor league system. Now, let's be frank, that is relying on a lot of youth, and that is something that, again, Stearns did not shy away from. He wasn't naive about it, acknowledged that youth brings uncertainty, that young players can at times make you uncomfortable, but he feels like they have a really special crop of young players, especially young starting pitching, and they're going to roll with it. Now, as I mentioned earlier, he also expects this roster to improve before the season begins. Stearns wouldn't comment on specific players, but we know there are still impactful names out there. The interest in Kyle Tucker is real. It's been widely reported. And so an addition like that would obviously help with what they're trying to accomplish in 2020.
That's interesting. You heard what he said, right? The interest in Kyle Tucker is real. Leave it, Quays. The interest in Kyle Tucker is real. You feel me?
Yes.
So that means they asked him, and he probably gave him the maybe off the record, like, "Yo, yeah, we're trying to get him."
I'm with it.
So, like I said, man, he's kind of backed himself into a corner without probably wanting to. But you kind of got to get this guy. It's just that is 3 years gonna do it? Is it 4 years gonna do it?
Could be
If you
5
go
years.
5, but golly, are you doing 5?
200.
250?
250. Yeah, it's maybe 4 with a player option that kicks in with
I think if I go
incentives.
above 3, I gotta bring that down a little bit to like 43 or something, bro.
45. So if you do 5 for 45 is 225, I believe. Yeah, 225.
Golly. And he's 28. He'll be 33. Would
He's
he
gonna be-
want that though?
He's 28. I think he's going to be 29 in March. So we're paying for age 29, 30.
Forget about that though. I'm just trying to say, is that gonna entice him? Right? Is 5? What do you say?
5 years.
To what?
45 mil a year. 225 it comes out to.
Is that enough for him to say, okay, I could be a free agent and make up the rest to get as close to that 400 I was looking for, if that was true?
Well, if you front load it and put 50 AAV the first 2,
Loading it. Is he gonna feel that he can go after that and go get some more?
if he plays good enough, he can.
That's
Because he'll only be 30 at the next contract signing if it's for 2 years. Still a young age.
He'll do
That's
that.
younger than Bellinger.
He'll feel good. If he decides to take that, he'll know that at 30 he should still be able to get,
Yeah, he could probably get
and then he
5
could
years at
be,
30, no
you know,
problem.
but right now, well, there's Boris and now they trying to do one of those bridge deals where you get as much as possible right now, so that eventually, when you do get that long term deal, you get just as much, if not more,
Yeah.
than And it happened with Pete. It happened with Bregman. So that's basically what he's trying to do. But let's finish this up.
But obviously help with what they're trying to accomplish in 2026. Overall, time will tell if any of this works. But what today felt was like we were talking to someone who understands the anger, but who is willing to take the heat because he is convinced that this is the right path forward and that there's a lot of talent currently in this organization.
And that's something that I've been saying all along too, man. Like, we keep ignoring. I think I told you this last time we were together, Eddie. We keep ignoring. And I might have even done a video. All right, Quaze, you can take it down. Quaze is sleeping today. Like,
I get rid
he
of it.
puts it up.
There, I got.
No, how I come into Gardens, guys? You can't let me in anywhere. How I come into Eddie's show and just start bossing people around? Fuck
That's
this.
okay.
Kick me
You're the
out.
boss, Zach. You're the boss.
And what the
Yeah,
hell is Quaze? How come I can't see him down there? I like it better when I can
He's
see
there.
him.
He's there. He's down there.
I can't see him. I don't like your setup. It doesn't let me see everything. That's it. I see, that's why acting like a guest and stop acting like.
Don't worry about it, man. Come on. You kidding me?
I'm messing around. It's part of my shtick, Eddie. Come
Yeah.
on. The hell was see?
So will you be sick to your stomach if we lose out on Kyle Tucker?
I don't know if I'll be sick to my stomach because I don't know if I've ever really expected for him to come.
Really?
Even
now?
Yeah. Now. Yeah, but I don't know if I'll be sick to my stomach.
Did you see the odds thing, Heck?
I don't pay attention to that shit. Yeah, I saw. I think
You saw, right?
But I don't.
Got us a 59% chance right now.
I don't. Whatever.
I don't know. The Basan bomb could drop overnight. I feel like it's going to drop the second we end this fucking show. I really do.
Let's end it.
Maybe.
Let's end it then. Let's end it so we can get this shit over with already, man. Listen, I'll tell you this much. This doesn't go past this week. If not tomorrow, tonight.
I would think. I don't think it goes to Friday.
Is Kyle Tucker a West Coast guy or is he an East Coast guy?
I think
if he's in the West Coast. Maybe it could happen a little late.
I don't even know where he's from. I think I heard Arizona, but I could be wrong.
What time is it in Arizona?
3 hours behind. That was like 8:15. Yeah, I've been to Arizona. It's 8. They're on LA time.
You sure?
Positive.
So it's 8 o'clock over there.
Yeah. Now again, let me make sure Tucker's from Arizona. I could be wrong. I could be fucking dead wrong.
This is when you know it's time to go.
Yes, but yeah. Well, let's see. Tucker from. Let's see. City. There we go. Hold on, I'm working on it. He's from Tampa, Florida.
Oh.
No way! That makes sense.
He's going to sleep right now, bro. Don't worry about it. We ain't getting that shit till tomorrow morning, early maybe. Maybe he wakes up tomorrow and says, you know what? Mets it is. And we get the news like 10 in the morning.
I think later. He went.
He's gonna sleep on it. He's sleeping on it tonight. He has those 3 offers. He has the long-term security that he's been looking for with the Blue Jays, but it's in a foreign country. It's right there, but it's a foreign country.
It is. It's a different currency
that comes with that.
Are the tax codes different? Do you got to pay tax? Sometimes it's like a tax for.
He has the high AAV offer with. I don't know. Was it the Dodgers willing to give him?
I think Dodgers said 3 or 4 years.
Okay, so he has the Dodgers.
The Dodgers are going to defer all the money.
let's say the Dodgers 4 years, defer all the money, but give you the best chance to
Probably,
win
yeah,
the World Series.
right. But to
And
see
then
like,
and then you have the New York Mets who will put an astronomical amount of money in your pockets,
right,
and in their mind also give you a good chance to win a World Series. Do you want to take on that challenge?
do you want the
And it's not really
pressure
like
of
you gotta
going to New York?
you're not the number one guy or anything like that.
No,
But it's
he's
the
been,
pressure of this team coming off of where it's coming from. He knows what's going on.
of course,
He knows what's going on.
and he's not going
That's
to the
what it is,
Yankees.
Eddie. And he's gonna sleep on that tonight. And tomorrow morning, he's gonna wake up and he's gonna say, you know what? What's the company that's representing him? You forgot already.
Excel Sports.
You're gonna say, you know what? Jimmy at Excel Sports. I think New York is the place for me.
I listen. I just hope he's a New York Met. I don't give a shit what happens. I don't care how many years. I don't care how much money. I want Kyle Tucker. I want him in a Mets uniform. And I get Kyle Tucker, and we get another pitcher. Me and Stearns are square. I'm square because I think
Yeah.
that's
This
a
is
good enough
something
team.
that Jeffrey on Sunday night on my show, he called in.
Okay.
I do the phone calls. He called in and asked if getting Tucker meant not being able to get a pitcher.
Hmm.
Would I be okay with that? And my initial answer, my response right away was like, I shouldn't have to choose. That shouldn't be
Right.
the case. I should be able to get both. That is the whole idea of having this ownership. Now,
I agree.
you want to tell me that we decided not to do that because David Stearns, like we heard him say, or like we didn't hear him say, we heard him quoted, feels real good about the pitching,
Right.
and the guy's coming up. I'm gonna be like, what the F? But okay, got no choice, right?
I think if we get Tucker, we get both because that's a all in sort of a move.
That's my question to you. And then I asked Laurie Rubinson, shout out to Laurie Rubinson,
Right.
WFAN Sunday night host, the same question, and her initial response right away was same thing. Why? I shouldn't have to choose.
Correct.
So my question here to Eddie Pressey, coming really from Jeffrey, shout out to Jeffrey again.
Okay.
If you had to choose, I mean, if getting Kyle Tucker, would you be okay with that? That you can get another pitcher?
Yes, because we could always get a pitcher down the line on via trade during the season if we need it.
I think Laurie then said if she had to, yeah, she would choose the bat over the pitcher.
I think I'm going with Tucker too because he plays every day versus once every 5 days, and we have 3 kids. Maybe one of those kids, or 3 kids. One of them could potentially step up and be a workhorse and be a number 2.
I think I agree.
You know,
I don't want to say it might be easier to find an arm, but I think for us right now, it's more important to get the bat.
Correct.
Than anything else.
The bat's been the biggest.
The pitching started struggling a little bit, but if the lineup was a little bit more balanced, if the lineup was a little better, and maybe he was able to bail the pitching out a little bit, maybe it would have came around. So, I think I lean towards I do it.
Yeah, 5-9. That lineup was shot.
And we'll figure it out for sure.
Yeah.
Eddie, I don't know what the hell you're gonna do, but thanks for having me on, brother.
No doubt. I'm closing up shop right now. I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate it, bro.
For sure. Like I said, I was gonna come on and chop it up a little bit with the people myself, but I saw you were on. I'm like, you know what? Let me hit Eddie up and see him.
Yeah. Appreciate the almost 1,200 people we got in here. A lot of people want to talk Kyle Tucker, that's for sure.
Right.
Appreciate everybody, man. If you're not following Hector, follow Hector. Hit his YouTube too. If you're not following me, follow me and hit my YouTube, Garden City Media. That's CITI Media on YouTube. Subscribe and you will get your Knicks and Mets content directly from me. And you also get me and Hector do a show sometimes called Mets Talk Unfiltered. You'll get that during the regular season. So with that said, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Hector. Thank you, Quays. Good night. God bless. And let's get Kyle Tucker tomorrow. 5-250. Who gives a fuck? Let's do it.